with the first week of Raiders training camp now in the books, we can kind of use the old binocs and kind of see who is really balling out right now, who's making the most of their opportunities, and who isn't. So it is what it is at this point. But overall, we can kind of take a look at the players that we've seen with headlines and everything. And there's winners and losers, or in our case, standouts and fizzouts, because everybody's got their own version. Winners and losers, risers and fallers. Ours is standouts and fizzouts because of players that stood out, and fizzouts because of pop. Yes, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Needs to replace all water. You heard us. Now, this isn't pop. This is Jocko Go. One of my buddies gave it to me, and it's got a little bit of fizz to it, so I kind of counted it. I know I don't have any pop with me today. That's kind of a Debbie Downer because no matter how much I love pop, let us know what kind of pop you guys drink in the comment section down below. Is it that Coke, Diet Dr. Pepper, that Mountain Dew, that Pepsi? Is it that Diet Dr. Thunder? For those of you that struggled like we did back in the day, let us know the kind of pop you guys drink in the comment section down below. But today we're here to cover the Raiders and players that are standing out and fizzing out, and we got to start out here with the standout. So the first thing is yes, Jakobi Meyers has been an absolute stud for the Raiders this entire preseason, and honestly, training camp. He's going to be a stud in preseason too, if he even plays. But from the very first moment he stepped on the field, he has been showing that he's probably going to be having a record year for the Raiders, or at least a career year. And, you got Devontae Adams. Brock Bowers is looking good. We'll get into him in just a second. But he's catching everything that's coming his way. He's a leader in the locker room, and he continually gets better every single day. He's just been absolutely awesome this training camp, and I expect him to have a big-time year. It's going to be a good year with Jakobi Meyers. Cornerback Jakorian Bennett is also another player that has been standing out. So, obviously, the cornerback position opposite of Jack Jones was in major question for the Raiders, but Jakorian Bennett has been that dude in training camp so far. There was a lot of expectations placed on him. Hey, there's going to be competition. You're going to have to, obviously come out and compete. Decamerion Richardson was a guy that they picked up in the 4th round. So, the writing was on the wall. Nobody's job was safe on the cornerback, especially Jakorian Bennett's, and he has come in. He has come in and done a very, very good job of being competitive, competing for every single ball that's up in the air. He's tipped an interception to Trayvon Morgan last week, and he's just been everywhere. He's running with everybody, tremendous ball skills, and he's just found a way to make plays for this Raiders defense. And he's just, honestly, he deserves a lot of credit, especially with a new, with a new kind of expectation put on you to be that starter. He has met the challenge head on, and he's doing some really, really good things. Tight end Brock Bowers is that next standout for us. So obviously, as a first-round pick, there's going to be a little bit of expectations put on you, but Brock Bowers, he has largely exceeded everything. He just continues to bring it day in and day out, and he finds a way to not only be a mismatch for you, but you can just put him all over the field, and the Raiders are doing that to start out training camp. And it's just, I think there was three straight balls thrown to him in the red zone. He just caught, it's not even close. He's such a mismatch nightmare right now, and I think that he is going to just absolutely help this offense evolve for the Raiders. And it's just going to be so excited to see. I'm just so excited to see him in the preseason and see what he does. Cornerback Decamerion Richardson, really all of the rookies right now are kind of balling. You have at least 4 rookies that potentially could come in, if not start, get valuable playing time. And that means a lot because this franchise needs the help, especially when it comes to the recent draft history. So Decamerion Richardson has been that guy that's come in and done a lot of really good things. And I think he's going to continue to compete with Jakorian Bennett and the rest of this cornerback group. I don't know that he's necessarily going to start, but he's going to get snaps. He's going to come in and do his thing, and he's going to get an opportunity to show what he can do. Decamerion Richardson definitely deserves a lot of credit. And he also got a little bit of praise from, the coaching staff with Antonio Pierce and Graham and company. Just the fact that he's long, he can run, he's lengthy, and honestly, I think he is going to add another element to this defense for the Raiders. He's going to come in and be an absolute stud. Linebacker Tommy Eichenberg. So Tommy Eichenberg has been one of those guys that I called it from the very beginning. I said that he could possibly come out and garner snaps away from Mattison and company and Spillane and all those guys. He's come in and honestly, to get praise from Antonio Pierce as a 5th-round linebacker, you cannot ask for anything better from Tommy Eichenberg. He has come out and just done his thing. And I think that if he doesn't get snaps on defense, I will be shocked. I think he has earned snaps on defense. I think that they should look at potential ways to get him on the field. Obviously, he's going to be playing special teams, but they need to find a way, whether it's an outside linebacker on the inside, doesn't matter. find a way to get Tommy Eichenberg on the field, and you will not regret it. Dylan L., it's kind of an inside joke because we always get his last name wrong, but the running back continues to get praise from Antonio Pierce and company. Like, he just continually brings it, and he's going to be another element to this Raiders offense, both as a running back and as a pass catcher and as a pass blocker. So I think that, between all the different running backs you have on the roster, like, they should definitely be paying attention to what Dylan L. is going to be bringing. Alexander Mattison's not safe. Amir Abdullah isn't safe. Nobody is safe. Maybe just Zamir White at this point. But Dylan L. is coming out and balling out. He deserves a lot of credit for what's gone on so far. And then the D-line, too. Like, this D-line has been so impressive. Like, clearly, this is going to be the highlight of the team this year. Really, the defense, if you're asking me. And yes, we talked about Max Crosby, we talked about Christian Wilkins, Malcolm Kuntz, we've mentioned him a lot, Tyree Wilson as well, but like, just top to bottom, the offensive line for the Raiders, even though I know they're without Jackson Powers Johnson, who I think is going to come in and tear it up, like, this defensive line is eating people, just straight up killing folks. And I mean, Max Crosby has eaten Thayer Munford's lunch. We'll get to him in a second, but overall, it has just been an absolute, just an absolute sack fest so far. Like, they're just going out there and making plays. And this defensive line, I think it's going to be the highlight of the entire team. And I think that it's just going to continually bring the pressure and make life easier on the linebackers and the secondary. Speaking of the secondary, wonderful transition, Colton. The secondary is also balling out. So really, top to bottom, I think that obviously you got Jakorian Bennett, who we touched on. Trey Taylor had an interception today. He continually shows a lot as a rookie. I think he's going to be at least on special teams, maybe even push for snaps on the field. We'll see. Obviously Jack Jones is continually coming in. Him and actually Jakobi Meyers have actually been kind of going after it, which is a lot of fun. But, and then obviously got Marcus Epps, Trayvon Morig. All those guys have been balling out. It's been really good to see. I am absolutely stoked for this defense in the regular season. I think it's going to get after things. Now, as for fizzouts, yeah, obviously though. So with fizzouts, it's the tough part. Like, you have this team that is so reliant, like, honestly, the sport is so reliant on quarterbacks, and just both quarterbacks have not done a lot to separate themselves. Like, they just haven't done it. So I think that at this point, Aiden O'Connell is the clear favorite to start, but with Gardner Minshew, I mean, they're both, the way the coaches are drawing things up, like, they're both expected to struggle. I mean, this defense is playing like one of the best defenses in the NFL, and it is one of the best defenses in the NFL. And so obviously you expect them to struggle, but both have got to step it up. Both have got to step it up in the preseason. This is going to drag out, and it's going to be really down to the wire. Running back Alexander Mattison. Now, I've been talking about it from the very beginning. Like, I know Alexander Mattison is a fantastic number 2 running back. As a Vikings fan, I can tell you, him coming over to my Raiders, I can just tell you he's not a number 1 guy. Didn't even score a rushing touchdown last year. I think it was Cam Akers who scored the first rushing touchdown for the Vikings last year. But, like, Alexander Madison's not a bad running back, but I just don't think he's going to be that bell cow guy, and he needs to make a name for himself, and he just hasn't done that to start out training camp yet. So I think that he needs to come in and continually bring it, because Dylan L. is knocking on the door. Amir Abdullah is no slouch. We've loved Amir ever since he was a Cornhusker. So honestly, I think Alexander Mattison really needs to step it up. Tackle Thayer Munford. Now, this one I give a slight pass to, because Max Crosby called him out at like the very first day of practice, saying it's going to be a long training camp for him. And I love it, because we talk about the competition aspect. We talk about the making each other better aspect. Like, I absolutely love it. I don't have a problem with it, but Thayer Munford, he needs to come in and play a lot better, because he's getting his lunch ate right now by Max Crosby. So it is what it is. I mean, Max Crosby is arguably the best defensive end in all of football. So the fact that he's losing to him isn't necessarily a concern, but Thayer Munford, he needs to pick it up. You need to pick it up. So, and then the offense too, like, again, I understand that there's certain players that have done a really good job for the Raiders on the offensive side of the football, but as a whole, the defense is clearly winning this thing, and it's just got to get a lot better if they want to win some games this year. So, and then finally, wide receiver Trey Tucker has definitely been a fizz out. So we were so excited for Trey Tucker in year 2, caught 30 passes last year for over 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Was that deep threat for you? And to be honest, it's been the drops. Like, he's such an exciting player just in terms of what he can bring for you for the deep threat. I think that he is a playmaker, but he just hasn't held on to the football. And that's the number one thing. Like, you can't expect to make the team if you're not hanging on to the football. So honestly, when it comes to Trey Tucker, he's got to come out and he's got to play a lot better and find a way to get it done. So, but that is it. That is our latest edition of Standouts and Fizzouts for the Las Vegas Raiders first week of training camp that is now in the books. And again, let us know what kind of pop you guys drink in the comments comment section down below. Is it that Coke, that Diet Dr. Thunder that we all struggled with, that Pepsi, Mountain Dew, whatever it is? Let us know what kind of pop you guys drink, and let us know what you guys think about our latest edition of Standouts and Fizzouts, and we'll see you on the next video.